They had met 2 years ago, on the set of a drama loosely based on family and reconciliation. Dirya was a costume designer, patient, kind, with an eye for details in every color and seam. She'd been quiet at first, observant. When he tripped over some rolled-up fabric during a late-night costume change, she laughed, not cruelly, but with delight, a soft sound that made him look up from the floor and notice her. Ever since, she had become someone he looked forward to seeing. In the morning, when the sun had not yet warmed the studio, at lunch, when she shared her food because you work too hard and you forget to eat. On her days off, sometimes they'd walk by the sea, the salt air, the sky, the call of gulls over the waves. Those moments felt like they belonged to a version of life he was only beginning to know. Now, her letter lay in his hand. The words inside were simple, direct, heartfelt. Burke, I have thought long and hard. I love you, and I want to spend my life with you. Will you marry me? His heart had slammed. Just like that, fear, gratitude, love, confusion, all tangled up. He sat heavily in the armchair, letting the letter fall to his lap. He looked at his hands, tan and marked by years of physical work. Fights staged in stage settings, days under harsh lights, nights rehearsing under pressure. His hands had built stories, but they'd never built a home. Or not yet. Outside, a call came through on his phone. The name flashed, manager, his manager. They had a new series lined up. Location, Istanbul. Role, lead. Pay, very good. Schedule, demanding. Weeks away from starting. And then more. Photo shoots, interviews, travel. Always travel. He sank back. Yes, his career was full. Too full, sometimes. It had come at the cost of quiet evenings, of routes and return tickets, and full meals eaten without rushing. The idea of marriage, of promising forever, seemed at once romantic and terrifying. Romantic because he believed, in his more hopeful moments, that partnership and love could steady even the wildest life. But terrifying because he was not certain he could stay steady. What if work pulled him away? What if the next role demanded months in a foreign city? What if the world expected a version of him he could no longer be? He rubbed his temples. A memory surfaced. His mother, Sevkin Nurin Demirci, pressing her hand to his cheek after a long day on set. Every time he felt lost, her voice had steadied him, evled him. What matters is your heart, she used to say, in the quiet kitchen, the late-night hours when the lamps were dim and shadows long. When he was small and the world seemed infinite, she believed in him not because of applause, but because of kindness. Such belief was rare, but he carried it still. Television de Zatisi.com+1. He got up, paced to the small balcony. Below, traffic crawled, people crossed streets, children played tag in courtyards. He thought of Dirya again, how she cared about the little things, how she remembered he liked chamomile tea, how she brought him a scarf when he was cold, how she had laughed when, during a cold red, he flubbed a line, Amir Tarhan, and she said, even the best warriors stumble. It was something he seldom heard, acceptance of his flaws. Most people saw the roles, the smile, the strength on screen, but not the man trembling inside when things got real. He leaned over the railing. The air smelled faintly of sea, of jasmine gardens nearby, and something he couldn't name, memory, perhaps. The kind of air that makes you think of your home not as a building or a street, but as a warm sense of belonging. He closed his eyes. Could I be a good husband, he thought. He had always believed in hard work, in discipline, in commitment to craft. If he decided yes, then marriage would be one more role, but the most important. To nurture, to stand by, to grow with someone, to let someone else in. Because in the end, what he wanted was someone to share those golden moments. The quiet evenings like this. Someone with whom laughter came easily, not because it had to, but because it was natural. Someone who watched him stumble and stood up beside him. Someone who believed in him not just as the actor, but as the person. He opened his eyes. The letter was still on the chair. He picked it up again, traced the edges. The paper was smooth, slightly heavy. She had chosen it carefully, as she chose everything. Fabric, color, conversation. He thought of her walking into a room, quietly confident, her eyes meeting his. No grand gestures. No fireworks. Just pure clarity. This is us. His phone buzzed again. A text message. He glanced. Axum Yemaji has her. Desari Sakalami. Dinner is ready. Shall we go out? It was from Dirya. She was waiting. She had prepared something. Even now, part of him wondered if he was worthy of this warmth. But another part, the part that remembered his mother's belief, his love of acting, his longing for belonging, rose up and said, "Of course." He folded the letter, tucked it into his jacket. The decision was forming, but still unspoken. He walked to the mirror. The face looking back was framed by soft shadows. In the reflection, a man who had lived many lives in the imaginations of others, a man who wondered if he could now live a life someone imagined for him, for them. He adjusted his collar, made sure his hair was smooth. It looked like him. It looked enough. In that moment, Gökberk realized that marriage wouldn't change him, but would ask more of him. It would ask him to be honest in ways he hadn't been. It would demand presence where absence had too often been excused. But he was tired of excuses. He was ready to choose love, even if it meant vulnerability. He picked his keys, stepping out into the stairwell. The building was quiet, only the soft echo of his footsteps. He paused at the ground floor, looked up at the stairwell light, took a deep breath. He wanted to knock on her door. He wanted to say yes. And even more, he wanted to mean it with all he was, not just with what people saw. Later that evening, the city lights flickered on, streetlights, neon signs, headlights. The sky darkened to deep indigo. He found himself in the car, driving through his toward a restaurant by the waterfront. The windows down, breeze in his hair. The scent of salty water mingled with the promise of what might be. He kept a letter in his jacket pocket, pressed close, warmed by his pulse. When he parked and walked up to the restaurant, he saw her waiting outside. Dirya turned the sound of his footsteps, the soft clack of shoes against pavement. She smiled, the way she always did, tentatively like a question, but full joy. He hesitated, a heartbeat, his heart full. He reached into his pocket, pulling out the letter. Dirya's eyes widened in the dim streetlight. She took a step forward, then another, the world around them, the clinking of cutlery, salty breeze, soft night, pulled into focus. He gave her the letter, softly, his voice steady with emotion he'd been holding inside. This is yours, he said. I want this. I want us. She touched his hand. Surprise, relief, tears glinting in her eyes. And for the first time, Gökberk Demirci felt what it meant to choose. Not a role, not a character, but someone. Not fame or applause, but belonging. Not the script, but the real life. And in that moment, as the waves lapped at the shore and the night held him close, he stepped across the threshold into something greater than any courtyard or camera light, into love.